this meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. We are going to kick things off with a approval of the minutes, a review of the minutes, approval of the minutes. So the minutes have been distributed and read. Are there any corrections needed for the minutes? All right, on a roll, Nick. Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, so I motion to approve the minutes. Can I get a second, please?
Second.
All right. I'm gonna get these files right. All in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed, say nay. All right. The minutes are approved. Okay. Next. Holly, are you able to talk about the financials?
Money. Nothing's changed. So yes, we still have $105,849 to spend on grants for 2023. That includes our annual BAC allotment, which this year is a $50K line from the general fund budget and $15,000 from the local income tax increase budget. We also get that nice little 2% increase, that's $849, and then we've got $40,000 of BUEA funds to spend for grants. In addition to that, we've got $5,000 that we can allocate for emerging artist professional development, and an additional $16,500 for public art grants. So this is like if we want to give neighborhoods starter funds to take advantage of our soon-to-be-released public art master plan. And then we've got some operating funds, so this is for things like our annual grants party, or if we wanted to go spend time together after a meeting. And that amount of money is $3,461.65. So you'll hear over the course of this meeting that those numbers are going to start going down in the coming months as we start allocating grants, both for our annual arts project cycle, which closed at the end of March, and also as the Public Art Subcommittee and I are doing some new neighborhood granting initiatives.
Okay. Sweet. All right, thank you, Holly. I will also then throw it back to you for agenda item number 3 on the staff update.
I don't have much to update on. Just a reminder to vote. The primary is May 2nd. So if you haven't already taken advantage of early voting, you've got just under a month left. We'll have a discussion about the candidate forum for the arts that happened last night at the Waldron Affair later in this meeting. The other two things I want to update you on are, I just want you to know that we're still waiting for legal to sign off on our protocol, the protocol document that we did at the beginning of the year. We're actually still trying to get that question about whether or not folks who start in the middle of someone else's term can re-up a second time. So that's kind of like the one thing that's hanging out there. But once that happens, hopefully I will be able to share back that, hey, we're good to go and everything's great. So I'll keep you posted on that. I'm sorry it's taking so long. The other thing I wanted to share is I just got back from Indianapolis and doing a site visit with a fabricator called Bomar, who, yeah, okay, good, okay, yes, this makes me happy, thank you. They are the fabricator that the Parks Department chose to go with for the fabrication of that gateway sculpture that we gave feedback on a few months ago now. So it was great to, Parks invited me, so I feel like we're making a lot of progress when we think about how we can collaborate more with other departments, with other boards. They just invited me to come up with them and talk through the designs one more time with the landscape architect REA, who put forward those initial designs, and to talk with this fabricator Bomar. I was really excited to make that connection with Bomar because I think, you know, as we think about doing more public art calls in the future, I feel like our list of fabricators has kind of dwindled over the past couple of years, and I've really been looking for opportunities to bulk that list back up. And I do feel like, especially with Rob's blessing, that this is a new good person that we can add to our list of fabricators artists might want to work with for future public projects. I also don't want to say too much about this yet, but I think there is going to be an opportunity for us to work with parks again at the end of this year or beginning of 2024 on a similar project where they are very much going to want to go through the process with us to find an artist to do a project. So we'll have more feedback from the beginning as opposed to this gateway thing where we were kind of coming in
Sure.
at the last minute. Yeah.
A quick question there on that last part. I know part of our discussion and our feedback on these gateways was like, whether or not we were considering these as like public art
Mhm.
assets.
Yeah.
With the I guess the growing partnership we have and sort of you going with them and having more feedback, is that I think we concluded that these likely weren't going to be considered public art. Is that changing at all, or?
For this project, my answer is no.
Okay.
I still think this is something that was parks, and I feel like, there wasn't like an individual artist that was chosen. This was just a landscape architecture design giving us this thing. And so I would like for this to stay in Parks' realm as the person who owns it and calls it theirs. But
Yeah.
I think going forward and thinking about our work with them on the Rogers Family Park project, those things I would definitely call public art that
Okay.
are in our realm, and that as we are working to bring our list of all public art pieces back up to snuff, that would be included.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Great.
And that's all I've got.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments on either on the staff update?
Were there any updates to the design of the beyond when we last discussed it?
They are no longer using Corten steel, which I think there was some concern about. And they basically what they've done is we were talking about doing a design like within that grid that the light was shining through to be more Bloomington-esque. And so basically what they've done, and I think some people are also saying, make whatever that design is, like make the perforation of it large enough so light can actually shine through and we can see what the design is. So they kind of landed on this kind of cool like leaf design that's pretty awesome. And so I feel like it's very reminiscent of the native landscaping that's going to go around the piece that I think many members of the commission were much happier with. And so that feels good to me. And they've softened the edges so it's not like little, and we'll still have opportunities to change lights and things like that. So.
Okay, so yeah, sounds like they took some of our feedback.
Yeah, they took it seriously. And again, I just think it just feels like we're heading in the right direction with like doing partnerships with other departments, so that feels good.
That's great. What a great update. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 4, an update from your Public Art Committee Chair.
Hey everyone. Happy Wednesday. Our biggest update in the public art world is that now that we have an approved public art master plan, we're working on our rollout plan, and we've kind of met, Holly, Christina, and I met early last week, and then the committee and I discussed it at our subcommittee meeting. But we are planning to roll out this master plan the week of May 15th. That's the big timeline that we're pushing towards, and we are going to hopefully be meeting with local groups. We're planning to table at different events and just trying to spread the word on this public art master plan and just the release of it to kind of build some buzz. Another opportunity that we're kind of roping into that is we are going to we're going to give grants a run for their money, because we're doing a tiny grant. We're doing a tiny little grant situation for this. We're offering up to 10 grants at $1,000 each for folks and groups who want to pitch essentially a public art master plan inspired project. So we'll offer up to 10 grants with that at $1,000 each, and there'll be more information available for that as we kind of get some of those promotional materials together and all of that leading up to that week. But yeah, exciting times.
Who's going to review those grants? The grants committee?
And the public art committee will do that, but I learned from the best. So thank you, Elliot. Yeah, it'll be a good time. So that's the most exciting thing I think, and the biggest update that I have in the public art world. Yes.
Okay.
Any questions on that?
What's the latest with the Hopewell
Yeah.
area and kind of our exchanges with them?
For sure. We are waiting for a concrete budget on what that, on what our public art budget will be from them. But at our last subcommittee meeting, we kind of talked about how we want to have another meeting to just brainstorm together and see what we can all pitch. So there was a few things that came out of the initial discussion when when the engineering department gave us a 3D tour. But we as a committee want to get on the same page about what we feel might be the best to move forward with. However, we're just waiting to hear a more concrete budget number so we can kind of figure out what feels most appropriate with that.
And I can share that I actually heard from the Hopewell project manager today, and she's still working with the controller's office to give us that bottom line number. As soon as I have that, I'll share it with the subcommittee, and we can go from there.
Sweet.
You may have mentioned this, I may have missed it. The funds for those 10 microgrants, are they coming from the grant pool or separate?
So the line on the budget, that was that 16,500. So yeah, that won't affect your grant funds at
I
all.
mean, it's.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Elliot. We're not taking no kidding.
We can get you more grant applications.
That's what
Yeah.
Natalie,
Yes.
do we have any kind of a date on the goat farm?
Ooh, date on the goat farm?
I can answer that question.
Ooh.
So I had a great time in a car with Parks. We talked business. They are aiming for a June date for that, and so they're working right now.
Okay.
They're working right now with the mayor's office and the Rogers family to get the initial set of dates that could happen, and then they'll share those dates with us and John Rasick, the artist, to put something together.
September, June. Okay, great, thanks.
Just going back a little bit to Hopewell, is that where we can launch the 1% or leverage the 1%
Yes.
for additional funds that we're not seeing here? That's not in the budget.
That's not in our BAC budget.
I mean, for 1%, so there is the potential for smaller projects in the Hopewell to give us 1% money that we could potentially leverage towards other projects, but I just haven't seen the opportunity to do that yet. But that's not to say it's not an option.
Well, if there's say, just arbitrarily, 5 million to start this thing rolling, isn't that mandated that we get our 1%?
Yes,
Good.
it is. Yeah. And I think basically what it is it's a mandate, but then it's a discussion. And it's a back and forth with the controllers. And what we're trying to do now specifically with the Hopewell project is just get the money we are due just for that project. 2 months ago, there wasn't even a line for 1% for this project. So it's just kind of leveling up the controller and stakeholders that are overseeing these larger projects, whether it's parks or whether it's parking when it's a parking garage, just to make sure we can grab as much money as possible.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, I think with these projects in the past, the 1% concept is a little squishy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it requires us to be in the conversation really early,
Mm-hmm.
and which is what Holly's doing. But there are also certain things that are sort of carved out of that, right? There's basic infrastructural things that don't go towards the 1% calculation.
Right.
And then also with something like this, where it's such a large project, anything that's going to be pieced off to developers,
Correct.
whatever else, is going to be out of the picture. And so that's where take Switchyard Park, for example, the overall budget for that, what we did was nowhere near 1% of the entire thing. It was closer to 1% of the structure that we affixed it to. And so, part of this is getting in early,
Right.
so that
Yeah.
it's being considered.
Yeah, and it's specifically 1% of city construction. So it's just getting in with the controller and the department who's overseeing everything to say, okay, let's define
So
construction.
it's not a private requirement.
Right. No, it's not a private requirement. This is a
Well, that
city-specific
needs to
ordinance.
change.
Yeah. And one thing that the project manager has offered to do is going forward with RFIs for different plots of this neighborhood that will go out to private developers is say, hey, 1% for the arts is a project the city is doing. Maybe you should think about doing it too. So.
And for what's worth, like one good example where that has happened previously is the Graduate Hotel,
Mhm.
where it wasn't, I think, a strict 1%, but there was a negotiation with the city and the developer to carve out a commitment for that.
Thank you.
Excellent. Anything else on the public art update? Okay, great. Moving on to agenda item number 5, an update from the grants committee.
All right, Chaz is going to be on this in a second. I just want to say, really strong response for the project grants that that deadline just closed, more than 60, so close to our record. Great, exciting things. We're doing a really good job getting the word out. Such a good job. We're working towards sort of organizing the logistics for those evaluation conversations, and you'll be hearing more from me about that. Since it is a large number of grants, there's a little bit more to think about in terms of how we structure that conversation, and so that's just in development right now. But more importantly, Chaz is going to talk a little bit about the grants software, which we use to receive the grants, and now we're going to use to evaluate the grants. So I'm going to turn it over to Chaz for a little bit.
I'll be brief because I know not everyone's on the grants. You're not going to be a reviewer, but this might be good for everyone to know. So this is an email you're going to get soon that has invitation to join the city of Bloomington. So with our grant software, you have to, I just am showing an example. This is an old one that when I was invited. You're gonna get an email like this from us on our software to even just create a username and login. So that's the first step. Before you can actually become a reviewer, you need to get in with this system. So look for that email, and then you would join now, and then you would make your username and password. Then, once you do that, I will have access, I will see you in the software, and I can assign you to be a reviewer. You will get an email similar to that says you've been chosen as a reviewer for these applications, and then, let me share my screen. Once you click through that email, you will get into the grant software. You will only have the reviewer option, but it will look like this. It's pretty simple. You will be able to hit start. I just have one in here, but I don't know how many each person will have, but you would see all the applications listed on here. Then you'll be able to click on them and look. You hit start. My computer screen's kind of sucks because it's so small, but it's really nice on a larger computer that you can see the rubric for how you review these. And you can also, this is really funny, I'm gonna go back here. Okay, we're just gonna start again. Okay, so you have the rubric for what you're looking at, and then you also have the application right next to you, which is such a nice thing because we haven't had that. This is a fake grant because it's fake. So anyway, you'd be able to look and see everything you need to see and grade it based on the rubric. And then you have a section here for notes. So this might change a little bit before you're actually in on here. But the general idea is you'll have community impact and engagement, equity and inclusion, organizational capacity, and they're all for all work, like the certain points, and you'll have the questions, and you can keep your notes here. And then you mark as complete, and then you like do all the applications you're assigned, and then you turn it in, voila. And there'll be a deadline on there that I'm not quite sure yet, but it'll tell you like when you need to get your stuff done by. So it's pretty simple. It's really easy for you guys.
Yeah, that's great.
And yeah, it's side by side, which I really like. Similar to what the IAC uses or something. Anyway, this is your dashboard. You'll have them all here. It'll be pretty simple. I will also be sharing with you when I invite you to this. There'll be instructions and like so the software we're using is Survey Monkey Apply, which is annoying. But anyway, I will be sending you all of the tutorials that you can watch to like have an overview. I think it's pretty simple to just kind of go in there and do it. And I'll also be going to the grants meeting that will happen in like a week or two, and then like do more of a whatever this is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to you there if you have any questions. I'm sorry, I'm really tired. So anyway, it should be easy, simple for you all, and work much better than how it has been.
Yeah.
That's it.
So the split screen is great. The reviews are assigned to everyone. The material is pre-aggregated. It's a lot of stuff that y'all probably don't really know or care about, but it saves us a lot of time.
And when you normally has been in the past, you've had to like look at the cost sheets separately. Those you can actually just view it on that split screen. It just you just click it and it pops up. So you don't have to like go in another folder, and so it's all there. Everything in the application is like right there. So it's really nice. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Two questions. First of all, when you mark it complete, if it's like the application, you cannot go back into it.
I can change that on there. I need to talk to like Holly and Elliot about this too. There are things we can change. So it's the new software, and I thought it would be a good idea to do that, but then it's kind of confusing when that happens. This software isn't the best. I'm gonna say that I would love to have a different one because on our end it's really confusing and it's not super intuitive. I was really surprised actually that being a reviewer is pretty easy.
Right, yeah.
But on the back end, there's a lot of things that don't make sense. That's the default on that, so we can change that. There's the ability to do that, and so we can do that.
Because many people, including myself, you're not reading them and grading them in succession necessarily. Like you might want to go back and say, oh, that actually wasn't as good compared to the other ones.
Yeah,
Or
and I didn't realize that was a
something like
problem. I thought it was supposed to be if you turned it in, you like submitted the grant, then you couldn't go back.
Right.
But it wasn't supposed to be if you mark it complete. So that's, yeah.
Don't ask me why I know. And on that, are in the aggregation of these assignments, are COIs included, accounted for, conflict of interest?
They can be. I think we're just gonna assign. We have to talk about that, but I think we're just gonna assign them if it's a clear, obvious thing that we know someone's involved in. Of course, we can manually do that.
Or you can manually
We
change.
can manually
Okay.
do it actually, but if there's something that we're not aware of and we assign you, there's a way that you can say like conflict. If we didn't know your best bud ran cicada cinema, I don't know, then you probably can't, but yeah, so there's a way to do that all. So
Okay,
we'll try to
cool.
account for it, but there is the option in case we miss something, you'll be able to say that yourself, and then we can like reassign it to someone else.
Cool. Thanks.
These are good, that was a good question.
Yeah.
Is there a way that it can send reminders if, like some of the reviewer, like,
It
in a
does,
week this is
yeah.
happening, or,
Yes,
or
we
we
have
haven't heard from you
automation.
kind of thing?
Yep, we have automations that we can do, so I'll make sure those are set up, because we just need to get the right date for when they're due, and then, yeah, we can automate that. You'll just get an email that says like, remember to do this.
I'm not on the committee, but sometimes those things are important because I have to search back through things to get the
Right,
link and
yeah.
everything, and it's really nice to have it, okay, now I'm ready to do it, and there's
Yeah.
the link.
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna write some of these things down. Yeah, so it should. we can definitely have that. We can definitely make it so people can go back and edit and try to fix some of these bugs. Because again, it's just since it's new software, the more feedback is great. Just especially if you've applied and you know what the issues were. Like the issue with the time zone. Some people said it was a different time zone than it was, and that was the problem. That's why we. It said like 9 p.m. 9 p.m. Pacific time or something, and on one spot that doesn't make any sense, and it just changed the time zone. Like I don't know. So anyways,
Yeah.
we'll fix these things.
That goes
Oh, sorry.
Real quick.
Well, because I'm new to this, is this software for the grants subcommittee? Is this for a broader group? Is this for?
So it's gonna be the grants committee, and then Elliot and Holly asked, I think, 5 other folks outside of the grant to be readers,
Okay.
to have other perspectives, so they'll be invited as well. And Elliot's gonna reach out to them to let them know, and I'm letting you know, to keep an eye out for this email, like this, like honestly, like tomorrow, so you can sign up with your username and stuff. Cause once I can't invite anything until you're a user in the system, and then I can assign you to stuff, so I just need everyone to do that.
So when you do this, you are likely seeking medium-specific artist commentary?
For the content of the review?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's-
said additional people, so if it's painterly, if it's sculptural, if it's interactive, if it's.
Oh, yeah, the additional, I've been gathering recommendations for readers for a little while now from members of the commission, and inviting those folks. So they're folks from ISC or other, cultural workers in the community. Yeah, so we try to have a broad base of expertise. Yeah.
But I could see this being used for public art reviews as well. The thing I like about it is that you can pull up your matrix really easily, and we were using, I don't know, Google, something Excel and Google or whatever it was, which was a lot clunkier.
So what I can share is, so the reason we have this software now is because our Department of Economic and Sustainable Development, the small business, arts, and sustainability were all giving out grants, and we were like, this is totally unsustainable. Let's buy the software we can afford, which is this. So basically, I think where we are is we can have up to like 10 application portals open at a time. So we kind of have to negotiate who has what application open when. I definitely do see a potential in the future for us to use this for public art commissions as well.
Yeah, and I can, I'm gonna share my screen real quick to show you what this looks like. Do that.
Can I ask another really naive question?
Sure.
Are there grants that are not for public art?
Yes, yeah, we have 3 types of grants. So this is the arts projects grants. So there's typically a public facing component to that, but it's not public art in the sense of like permanent sculptural installation, things like that.
So if it were a performance,
Yeah, that could be a project.
which is public art, but it's under something else.
Yeah, so, and then we have operations grants as well for organizations to apply for operational funding, and then emerging artist grants, so.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem, yeah.
Did you have a question?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, since there's a place to record notes in here, is the intention with those notes to be kept internal, or to eventually make that transparent to applicants as feedback? I mean, I assume we'd want to keep the tone nice no matter what, but, I guess the question is like, is it shorthand for the reviewer to be able to expand upon? Like, is it like Cliff Notes, or do we want it to be a little bit more digestible so it can be shared?
That's a great question.
I don't know the answer.
I can steer historically what I've done. So generally at one of these grant review sessions, you know, everybody has been up to this point responsible for filling out a rubric and an Excel file. And so generally the way we've played this in the past is for those who don't get full funding or no funding, when we share the notification with them, we say, hey, if you would like to arrange a time to speak with, up till now it's been me, you know, to get some feedback and learn what you could do better next time, reach out, we'll set up a meeting. And so generally I would be the person who would Zoom with that person for 30 minutes or so. And basically what I would do is I would take the notes I had taken during the 4-hour-long review session, just to kind of capture the essence of the conversation that happened. And I would kind of combine that with the notes from the individual reviewers' rubrics and kind of put that together to use in giving feedback. We've never, since I've been here, we've never just sent out blanket feedback to everyone. I think it's up to Elliot to choose whether or not that's a conversation she'd like to have with the subcommittee.
I mean, for what it's worth, when
Yeah.
I've done like IAC reviews in a similar platform, they were meant to be kept internal.
Yeah.
But they could still be visible to other reviewers.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a strong preference. I'm just kind of curious.
And I just want to show you this is our grant portal page. So when you would go on the city's website for the art grant, it would take you, it would take you to the art grant specifically, but you can go here and you can read about the arts grants. So this is just the portal, and there's other grants. There's BUA, sustainability, we have the outdoor dining program on here too. Anyway, you can read about the other, there's like operation grants and when that is, and you can keep an eye out for that, and the emerging artist grant that Elliot was talking about. We also put the kickoff events on here, and just some info. And then if you go to the home, we have like sustainable grants on here as well, BUA ones, yada yada. Here's the arts project one is still on here, but this is like if it was open and you were an applicant, you could go here, you can see the value. I put 500 because usually we don't go under that with giving littler than that to people. It tells you when it's open, it says in the category of arts, gives you all of the eligibility and prior to applying stuff. So, and there's like a handy guide on how you like do it.
Well, I haven't looked
Anyway.
at this for a while, but somebody's put a lot of work into it.
It's all
Ah.
Chaz. 100%.
Yeah.
There's nothing to it.
And then,
I have a question. Is all the information that's in here gonna be proprietary to, for example, the arts grants only to the BAC, grant committee, et cetera? Or is this gonna be like, everything's gonna be public to anybody who can get it in here?
so this, anyone can see this because this is just how you would apply, but
Well, that seems to me, I would think that maybe there's some organizations, if they're putting some financial information or whatever they're putting in there for grants, that they may not want it to be public.
it's not public.
won't be public.
You can't see the application. That's internal. This is just like how you apply. No one can see anybody's application except for me, Holly, and then who we choose to have on who Elliot moves.
So it is proprietary then to us, to whatever.
No, the
our
reviewers
committee.
and the applications. I'm sorry, I was confused. The portal to see this is.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
That's not gonna help because it's a.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Oh,
The
boom. Okay.
portal is
Yeah.
public. The internal applications are private. Yes, so anyone can see that they can apply. No one but me and Holly can see the applications, and then we allow Elliot and the grant subcommittee to review. We allow people to see certain ones.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that would be literally insane if anyone could see all of
Yeah.
that. So don't worry. But yeah, this is the public facing. I'm showing you right now the public facing portal. I have not showed you the internal portal that I look at. So I'm not even gonna bother showing you that. Yeah. So but I'm just showing you the public facing stuff. And then when you're invited to it, as a reviewer, you will have your certain applications that you will see, and but you have to be invited. That's why you have to make a username and a password and be invited to the thing. So it's fairly safe. Yeah, but also I don't think we're not, right now the application doesn't have like crazy information that people maybe wouldn't want to put on, so that's when they have to give the EFT form, which is a whole other thing.
Yeah.
So we're not there yet.
Any other questions?
Thanks, Chaz.
Cool, thanks so much.
But thanks, good questions, everybody.
Yeah.
It should go more smoothly than the applications, I hope.
So, and just thinking about next steps and just timing, acknowledging there's a huge amount of grants to be reviewed, and
66.
yeah. So you should be getting the email to set up your account in the next couple of days, and that will follow soon after with the list of application you'll be asked to review. And I believe we still need to set the date of our big old review thing, and so Elliot will be reaching out to the subcommittee members and the guest readers to solidify that. And like Chaz said, our next grant subcommittee meeting is scheduled for April 21st, and we'll take the first 30 minutes of that meeting to answer any questions about the grant software. And so the hope is that by that point you will have had a chance to create your account, see who you're reviewing, play around with the software anymore. So that April 21st meeting will be a great chance to come and ask those questions. But also, of course, if you're like finding yourself running up against a wall in the meantime with the software or after that meeting, please reach out to Chaz and me, and we'll help you troubleshoot. So.
Yeah, and I'm hoping to go more in depth with you all during that grants meeting in case questions arise.
Yeah.
So, not that there's much to get into.
Great. That's all I got.
I actually have one quick question, and that's how are you feeling about grant readers for the upcoming cycle?
I'm feeling good about the number of readers. It's just a lot of grants.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Okay.
There's at least like 10 or more
Oh,
grant
like
readers.
Yeah, we have
12
a
or 13
great
at this
deep
point.
roster this time, yeah.
Yeah.
We pulled deep because I kind of figured this was going to happen, so.
Okay, excellent, cool.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I don't need to hound it anymore.
Not anymore, thank you. Appreciate
14.
that.
That's
There's
great.
14, including Holly.
Wow.
Whoa. Man, those are going to be some
So 6.
engaging Zoom calls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always fun.
We're planning more on that later.
Okay, great. Any more questions either about the grant software or just for the grants committee in general? Okay, great. Moving on to notes from your chair. I'll give a quick little recap from my perspective on the mayoral candidate forum yesterday, but then I'd be happy to open it up to other comments from the group. Just keeping in mind that we this meeting is public and we need to keep things fairly neutral and as we're discussing things and kind of just giving our broad observations here. I'll say there was the last time they did this was in 2019, and I think compared to that there was a pretty fantastic turnout. It was hosted at the Waldron Center in I don't know the specific name of the theater that they have there, but the theater that they have on the second floor. And it was third floor. Okay, yeah. Third floor, and it was almost full. So I think by that metric, I think there were over 100 people there.
Yeah, at least.
Which was, the idea for having this forum. There were a number of ideas behind them, but one I think was to show the arts community, not necessarily as like a group that has consensus, but as a as a large and vocal and engaged voting bloc that the candidates need to take seriously. And I think, relatively speaking, for a Tuesday evening, like there was a really good turnout, and I think the candidates will see that. And we'll hopefully, whichever one ends up winning, will carry that into their term as mayor. So, and also, in particular, like there was a really good BAC representation. So, thanks for the folks who were able to show. We got a little shout out, which was nice. So, and also thanks for the questions at the last event or at our last meeting. I know at least the first one that they asked came from ours, but I think a couple of them as well, and even the ones that were submitted by the group were echoes of what we were asking. So. So good job by us. And yeah, in general, it was pretty uncontentious as far as things go. I haven't been following the race too closely or been to any other forums, but there weren't a lot of attacks. It was mostly kind of just presenting ideas. And with the arts, it was largely positive, like saying like what they would do to support, not necessarily commenting on too many of the problems. Although of course housing is one of the big issues going into this election, and that certainly came up in its connection to the arts community. So yeah, and I think also it was mostly non-specific answers were given, but it still gave a good sense of how the candidates see the arts, what their relationship is like to the arts, but and yeah, how they see the arts both on their own and within the broader city ecosystem. I think all of them referred to the arts as like an economic driver, which makes sense that Holly's position is under the oh my gosh, I'm blanking out. Economic development, yeah, but it's, yes, same with economic development. So yeah, and then and gave a broad sense of how they would support it. So so it was good in that sense. But I'd be curious to hear what other folks who were in attendance or what you thought and what you took away from it, and share your thoughts with the group.
I thought they all commented, and it felt pretty genuine, of the importance of the broader arts as part of our cultural identity, and its attraction for this uniqueness within the state. And they all seem to be supporting how we might continue to differentiate ourselves from other environments by having such a culturally rich environment. That was vanilla, wasn't it?
I mean, first of all, yes, there were several nods to the work we're already doing and specific individuals, Holly, but the BAC as well. I did think there were some mentions of ideas or hypotheticals that were closer to things that we're actually already doing that made me think that maybe we could continue to be better communicators about the work we do as a commission and the kind of art and opportunities that are available in Bloomington. I say that full knowing that 66 grant applications means we're doing some of that well, but yeah, I thought it was interesting to hear the candidates talk with varying levels of awareness about what is actually already going on, and two of the three of the candidates are already embedded city folks, so if they're not fully aware of what we're doing, then the public obviously is not either.
I'll save the really blunt version for after the meeting when the cameras are on. But I do just want to note that like one of the candidates is the council liaison for the Arts Commission. And I personally was disappointed that Councilperson Sandberg did not seem to have a greater awareness of the work that we do. And while that certainly half of that is on us, it's not all on us. And so whoever is our liaison moving forward, if that's still Commissioner Sandberg or someone else, I would love to see that improve.
Yeah, I had no idea that Sandberg was our.
I didn't know either.
Going into it. And she may not either. No, I mean, she.
What's her, she's actually attended the
Susan-
meetings.
Susan-
Actually,
Yeah.
you know, that's funny that you said that because she's the one who both interviewed me and has taken the time to speak directly. I've spoken to her many times about it, and I don't feel she's at all unaware of what we're doing. And has also had separate meetings with AAGB, etc. So I just, but I think that all of them are, you know, great proponents of Bloomington and the arts. The question always is, you know, it is how and where we're budgeted to get there. And the other thing I just on a personal level would like to remind everybody about is the thing that I think that's kind of being ignored, and I know that I generally ignore it. When I go to vote for council people, I get in the booth and then I say, oh my God, I don't know who these people are. And then just pick a name that sounds good to me. And I will tell you that we've had some really major issues in the past 4 years, and specifically in the past 2 years, because of various coalitions with the council and stances they've taken on, you know, there's been a block that believes that housing at any cost, as long as it's dense, is the way to go about getting lower priced housing, which we know is not true. And I think it really behooves everybody to take a look at who your council people are. There are 4 council people at large, and understand, you know, what they're gonna do to support whatever it is that you believe in.
I think I was a little disappointed by all of them because none of them seemed to know what was going on in the local art world, which obviously they have a lot of other things to worry about, but you know, I just hope that this is a positive spin, can be like, I think we're really starting to do really cool things. And I think one thing I was disappointed in is, even though we tried to get out the word, no offense to older folks, but it was mostly white older folks, a lot of retirees, and I think that was a little disappointing because that's just a third of the artists in town. I mean, very important group, don't get me wrong, but it would have been nice to have more diversity there, so I think that was also part of it. And yeah, it's good to know and communicate about, like, Susan talking to you, Babette, because I don't know if I knew that. But, you know, I just hope that people can branch out from their comfort zones when they're thinking about art, and also, you know, just talk to more people, because we are doing cool stuff, like the artist party next Tuesday that everyone should attend. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. We don't have to harp on it, but go arts. Let's fund arts.
So was it recorded?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
I saw someone there
Katz
with
is-
a camera. in.
Yeah, Katz was there.
Yeah, I think the Firehouse folks broadcasted too, so they must have an audio.
Yeah,
I
there was a
wonder how
guy
much
from
effort was put
Katz.
forward to bring out more emerging artists, younger artists.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
tried
I
to
mean-
put it in my newsletter.
Yeah, we put it in
but
our newsletter,
I
and
probably should have invited
Yeah.
personally more people.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't necessarily just blame them for that. Like, I'm like, we tried to get out the word,
Mhm.
and so it's on, you know, people who don't show up to things. Like, we want people to show up too, but sometimes they don't know that they should or that they're welcome. So I think just trying to let people know that their voice is important too in this entire picture of the art scene in Bloomington. So yeah, I feel like I should have done more too, you know, to help get that out there. But
I'm,
You know, can I just say one thing? And it really, you know, there are old expressions, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I think it also right now, and one of the things that should be part of our conversation is if you want to be heard and you want to have a voice, you have to come to the table. And I do believe that this was publicized enormously, I always feel like I thought last night actually there were a lot more young people, and it was a little bit more diversified than the usual gang, and that was very encouraging. But I think we have to encourage people to come and to be there so they can be heard.
Respectfully, I have not been in a room with that many older white people since I went to a Rotary meeting. I mean, I don't think. I don't think.
Come into my world.
Yeah, I just.
Now,
You know,
this is true of everything here.
Well,
That
That's
everyone
not
who
true.
finds
No, it's not actually. It's not actually.
Are the old people.
I mean, you know, the art opening that that Chaz and Holly, that one drop at like the 4th Street
Yeah.
garage space was a very, very different crowd. It was sort of an inverted crowd from what we had there last night. And I think just all due respect for Arts Forward, I do think there is work they can do as an organization to better engage younger people. I think a lot of the people at the core of that organization are a little bit older. I also think the timing of these events is important. If you have something that starts before 6 o'clock, it is going to naturally cut out people who are under the age of 40, who have more regimented 9 to 6, 9 to 5 type work schedules. And so that's my main feedback is if I was organizing the event, I would have started at 7 o'clock.
I would really encourage everyone to put your thoughts down about this, and maybe what we can do is, you know, send them to whether it's AAGB or Arts Forward or the people who put these things together. So we'll give them an idea of how to better engage them.
Yeah, these comments have all been super helpful.
If I could just give
Yeah.
off some
Yeah.
quick takeaways that I gleaned from the forum, it feels like they were all somewhat on the same page when it came to arts in specific neighborhoods. I feel like Susan didn't talk about it as much specifically, but given her general track record, I think that's something she's generally in favor of, is paying special attention to arts in neighborhoods. So I think that's one kind of like common point among each of them. But I would say where they varied most, at least in my observation, where they varied most significantly was when it came to Hopewell, at least in the level with which they spoke on a real willingness to center the arts in their planning. I mean, while trying to avoid being too partial here, it seems like Dawn generally sees the arts as more of like an economic driver, for better or worse. You know, I'm trying to keep that as impartial as possible, versus other folks might see more intrinsic benefits for the arts, and more kind of like as a decorating factor. So I think that was just, you know, especially as we consider the possibility of maybe an incubator space, I think there was very distinct levels of willingness to actually bring that to life among the candidates. So I'll kind of leave it at that, I think.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Thank you all for your comments and for being engaged either by submitting questions or attending the event. And yeah, like Holly said earlier, early voting is open right now. So between now and May 2nd, make sure to continue to read up on the candidates and go vote.
There's a debate tomorrow night. Is that right? A debate, I believe. Yeah. Yeah. Is it just broadcast, I believe?
That's where I heard it.
Okay, yeah.
That's
it's the time of our talent show.
Dang.
Or is that?
But that's-
I'll save that for the announcement.
So is that on WTIU? Is that where it's being broadcast, or?
I'll look it up.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Who's the?
FIU, TIU, and PBS. It looks like it'll be on YouTube.
Okay, moving on to item number 7, upcoming events and important dates. So yeah, looking at the BAC upcoming events doc, there's 4 listed here. This Sunday is Burning Couch Festival in Switchyard Park, which was it's a music festival put on by the Music Industry Creatives. They applied for an Emerging Artist Project grant and received some funding from us, and are hosting it in a public venue, sort of at the behest of the commission, and in part I think because they received some grant funding from us. So yeah, it'll be really exciting to see a IU student, a major IU student led event in that space. I mean, I don't want to say that hasn't happened before, but this is, at least from my little bubble, this is one of the first like major events I've heard coming from the students to be hosted.
Well, actually, we'll note too that the 2 kids who had that up were actually at the
Yes, they were.
the event last night.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, and then April 18th, the artist party. What was?
Woo.
Woo.
And please RSVP if you can on Eventbrite. I can put the link in there if you need, just so we can know how many people are coming. We already have like only like 40 some people signed up right now, but I think people are getting worse at doing RSVP. So anyway, please come to that. It's gonna be in the One Drop show, the pop-up storefront gallery that we have under the 4th Street Garage. I'm really excited. We're gonna have 4 local poets and writers do a spoken word in the middle of the event around like 8. So that should be really fun. Pete Vinch, who's a poet from Bloomington, he does a bunch of stuff. He just partook in the MLK week festivities like Christina did too. And then we have Lisa Kwong, who's a professor at IU who has a really good book out, and she's amazing. And then we have Bruna Khalil. She is amazing. She is a PhD student from Columbia who's really cool and really engaging. And then we have Andrea Sterling, who she helps co-host the poetry slam that happens monthly at the Bishop. So we have those 4, and I'm really excited because I met 2 of them more recently and connected, and I just thought it would be really cool to. We're paying them too. We're paying them to be part of this. WFHB is going to DJ, Jared Turner, and there's going to be, I think I'm going to get empanadas from this local woman, Maria.
Yay.
And so it's going to be good.
What time does the program begin?
It's 7 to 9, so you can swing by anytime next Tuesday. And Honky Tonk at the Blockhouse is happening after that, so you can go back and forth between if you like that. Anyway, I'm really excited. It'll be the 4th one, and Downtown Bloomington Inc. is our sponsor. Jalicia's going to be there, very supportive. So this is like 4 artists, so just please send the RSVP out to your artist communities, get them there, and please try to attend if you can. And I want artists to be there, but I'm also, if you know any business owners or any people who like want to hire artists or have gallery shows, art admin people, maybe people visiting, like Holly had One Drop come to the artist shows where they met a bunch of the artists, some of them that were in the show you're gonna see on Tuesday. Just any arts related people, bring your significant others, bring some friends if you want, but I do try to keep it somewhat in the art world or somewhat related to artists, people who want to pay artists, whatever, because I do want this to be like a networking thing. So just if you don't mind sharing the link, I can send it out real quick or put it on that spreadsheet. Please try to come and spread the word, because I think what we were talking about earlier, like what I'm really trying to do with these, that Holly's been super supportive on and amazing at helping me do this, is so we can avoid things like at that candidate forum where the audience is just these types of certain people, or it's a broader audience to connect people, because I think I especially am tired of Bloomington being so like everyone's like bumping heads all the time over everything. I want this to be like for artists, so people meet new people collaborate, connect with people. So I think it's really important for all of you to show up if you can, if you have the availability, just because, especially those who haven't been there, you can see the diversity of age, skin color, mediums, like, it's crazy. So I'm really proud of them. It's been really good, and like there are, I just want to say, like, a lot of people of color artists in town that no one seems to like know or care about, and so I'm really trying to change that, right, and give them that space to freaking thrive, because there's like amazing people doing amazing things that it's not obvious, and they also don't know, maybe not just them, but a lot of people don't know the resources. So I think that as the Arts Commission, I think it's really important that you really help me be a part of this. It's not just my artist parties, but I want you guys to like feel ownership over it too, and make it, have good experiences there, and feel like you can invite people, because it's your space too. So I'm gonna stop talking now, but just go artist parties. We're gonna have like 3 more this year, so get prepared.
Thank you, Chaz. Also, it's these kind of things that, like, as much as like we're like, oh God, 66 applications, this is one of the reasons why we have 66 applications. This is an effective tool for spreading the word to the next generation of arts leaders in Bloomington. This is why this work and parties like these are invaluable. MIT endorsed. Like, you don't have to like plan something highfalutin and scholarly. You just get a bunch of people in a room, have a party. So thank you, Chaz, for doing this amazing work for us.
And if anyone does want to drop off like little pamphlets, or like, I think I'm gonna have a table this time that has like info.
Yeah.
I haven't really had that before, so if you do have any events coming up or in the future, literally anytime, just if you have little things to place out or a poster, literally just bring it and we'll find a place for it. So
Yeah, we
just
definitely
FYI.
do want to like start, because I think like, we've planted this seed. Folks know to come to these, right? And now I do think we want to say, okay, and here are actually the resources. Like, this is how you get involved. This is how you learn about upcoming commissions, upcoming grant opportunities, things like that. So
Yeah. And it's free. So why wouldn't you go? It's great.
Will they always be on Tuesdays?
I'm gonna try to have them Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay, that'd be helpful.
Occasionally I'll have on Thursdays or maybe another day. It depends if we partner with an organization. So the last time we partnered with these two at the Cook Center, Arts and Humanities Council, to announce the Grand Flume Festival, that made sense for a Thursday because of that. But I am trying to make these more low barrier, more accessible. I feel like I'm overwhelmed with my choices Thursday through Sunday, so I'm trying to make this like a little more like low key, like it's on a Tuesday evening, I don't know, or a
Tuesdays
Wednesday.
are generally rehearsal days for
Okay.
community choir, so it's about 200 people who might,
And board meetings.
and board meetings,
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I can
So
send
shifting
you-
the day a week is really helpful.
Yeah, I will keep that. I will do that because I want to switch the spaces that we're in. That makes sense too. Again, it's trying to get as many people there at some point. So thank you for that reminder, because I won't just pick Tuesdays. Yeah, no, that's great. Yes, I need yes. And I think 7 to 9 works pretty well, but I mean, any feedback from anyone, just email me or talk to me and tell me what you think if you've attended it, or if you have a barrier to attending because of reasons like that. I mean, I'm not going to be able to make everyone happy, but things like that, it's like I can easily have them the other days,
It's all factors.
Yeah, but yeah. Oh, and I'm gonna end so we had 150 people last time. We had 70 to 80 for the first two. So I mean, I'm anticipating we'll have at least 70 to 80 again. I'm hoping our audience grew a little bit more for these with you guys, but that's what I think if we help spread the word. Yeah, but I need to advertise this a little more. But again, it's also, I just want to say, it's not open to the public because it's for artists. Okay, so just like, don't be like, anyone come to this, because it's free drinks and we want to keep that. I want to keep that like a special thing. So just an FYI, like, you can invite people, you can share it on Instagram, but just kind of put like, for artists by artists, or like send out a personal email to people, because, you know, it's not just for anyone. Like, this really is like supposed to be a special thing for the art world in Bloomington. So, anyway, I'm done talking, I swear now.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna make just a quick note that on the three other events, and just to say, like, all of those things take place after our next commission meeting, so I won't get into too much detail on those there, but just be sure to keep an eye on this document in general. Look at the events that are coming up, try to attend if you can, and for events that you are gonna go to, spread the word. Any other comments?
Can we add to the list?
Oh, yeah, please do.
then, or-
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Okay, cool.
Yep.
I didn't receive it.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh, sorry. You answered my question. I was like, I wasn't sure if it was like editable,
Okay.
editable,
Okay,
able
yeah.
to be edited.
Okay, yeah, do you-
Other word.
And do you have access to the doc?
I saw it. I'm not. Yeah, I definitely got on it.
Okay, great.
I closed my email out.
yeah,
So I gotta open
I think
it back up.
I think the last time I shared it was in one of those like midpoint emails. So
Yeah.
okay.
It was in that.
Okay, great, perfect.
Thank you.
But yeah, and that goes for everyone. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll be sure to make a note. If you happen to know that it was a BAC grant funded event, make a note of that. But any and all arts events can be added to this. So, okay, great. Moving on to commissioner announcements. Let's start with the folks on Zoom. Would either Babette or Nia like to start us off with some commissioner announcements?
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna add these to the list, but I might as well just announce them.
Yeah, sure.
So this Friday in, it's, sorry, I had this email pulled up. Waldron Hill and Busker Parks between 3 and 9:30. There's the Project School Band, and the Girls Rock Band, I guess, are playing. I'm not sure what, I haven't seen very much advertising on it online. Like, I saw there was like an event on the Project School website, but the information is nebulous to me. I just know because I'm working for Parks Department now. So that's gonna be cool. They're really good. I ran sound for the Project School bands a couple weeks ago at Orbit Room, and they're amazing. So definitely check that out if you're free and it's nice on Friday and you want to go to the park. I don't know. And then on the 28th, Roses is having a show. It's kind of like our reopening because we haven't done anything since last year. And so that's like 2 local noise artists and a band from Chicago, which I haven't received that I haven't received that information yet, but my friend set it up from Chicago, and they're also playing. And then there's gonna be like a visual artist for that. So that's the 28th. I think it will be like 8:00 p.m. And we're up behind the Eiffel. Our entrance is through that alley behind Eiffel. And then we're also doing First Friday, which I guess, I mean, everyone knows about that, but I think Diego is going to be doing a First Friday show at like a Diego Doodles on Instagram is going to be doing First Friday at Roses in May. So yeah, we have 2 events, 28th and whenever Gallery Walk is, whatever date that is. And yeah, and but we have 2 more after that. But yeah, those will be after next meeting. So that's my announcements.
Great.
Oh yeah, and Roses is BAC funded. So
Babette, any announcements?
Just quickly, the Artists for Climate Change are doing multiple shows in different venues around town and are looking for also for artists of any kind, any type, with any kind of media to show their work. There's no charge for it, and it's just for a good cause. The second thing is that the AAGB is doing all kinds of classes now. They're very inexpensive, just basically covering materials, and with mostly with Indiana artists. There's one coming up in 2 weeks, which is Rena Brower, who's a fantastic watercolorist. So anyone who's interested in that, it's a great opportunity. The last thing is that we have a date for Paint Bloomington, which is the first Saturday in October, and I am there. I have ideas for some other things to do, but need manpower or women power or any power to help. And if anyone has any connections in the with anyone with art education, anyone who wants to do any kind of a class or just help with setups, we can't do more unless we have more people helping.
Okay. All right. Any announcements from the group here?
There's just like a little mod talent show tomorrow night for folks that are current Masters of Arts Administration students. It's over at the Waldron at 8 o'clock. I'll be doing like a little hoop number. I think there might be some vocal performances and maybe some folks just exhibiting some of their visual art. So there is like a little flyer for RSVPing. I can maybe just email that to the commissioners.
When is that?
It's in the Waldron. It might be the same room as the forum.
When?
8 o'clock tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And you said you think in the 3rd floor?
I think so, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So feel free to come by.
I don't usually mention every time a secretly artist comes to town, but 2 things I'll drop. Saturday the 22nd is Record Store Day, and as usual, there's a lot of activity at Landlocked downtown. One of the things that'll be on their schedule is Duran Jones will be appearing, and then he is later that following week on Thursday the 27th performing at the Bluebird. If you're not familiar with Duran, he is the frontman of Duran Jones and the Indications, who've released a few albums. They don't live here anymore, but they met while in music school at Jacobs, and so have strong ties here. Duran recorded the album at Russian Recording here in town with some longtime local musician friends, and it's really beautiful and special. And so if you're at all interested, I'll see you there.
Independent Bookstore Day is Saturday, April 29th, and at Morgenstern's from 6 to 8. My husband's rock band, Don't Call Me Betty, is playing an acoustic, an unplugged show. It's free. You can buy coffee and books. You don't have to pay to see the band. And it is exciting because there's so few venues now in town. So they usually, they have to play romance instead. So April 29th.
Suzanne, do you know if they will play Food Truck Friday this season?
I don't think the schedule's been made yet, but I hope so.
Great.
Yeah.
Also look out for Food Truck Friday. Switchyard Park coming
Truck
back.
Friday.
Good food.
I won't dig into it today, but at our next meeting, I'm going to give a full Grand Filling rundown. So
Your Grand Filling
just get
meeting.
ready.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
So much. Maybe like 36
Yeah,
events?
a lot of events. I'm not nervous.
No. If you want a Grand Falloon shirt, a free one, we'll be in line 7:30 a.m. at Record Store Day, passing them out most of the day. So come by.
Okay.
I also know a guy who might be able to get you a free Grand Falloon shirt.
Any other announcements? All right, I'll move to public comment. Brendan, thanks for being here. Anything you'd like to comment on or add?
Just glad to be here. Glad to hear what's going on in Bloomington. Excited to hopefully make my way to Switcher for the Burning Couch Festival. So thank you for letting me be a part of it.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, if there are no other announcements or notes, I will go ahead and motion to adjourn the meeting. Can I get a second? All right. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks all.